when the teacher fell down in the cafeteria because she like slipped on a condom and she sued. That was a civil law case.
Okay.
And because she sued for damages and there's less civil.
Yeah, that's exactly a really good example. When you think about a civil case, you're not suing for imprisonment or execution or things like this. You're suing for financial restitution. You're suing for compensation. So, what's that? Yeah, but really, it's about money. I mean, let's not even confuse this. I mean, civil cases, you go for
it's
money
individual against individual.
The standard of proof is lower because the sense is that money doesn't mean as much as your life or your freedom does. So this would be individual versus individual, citizen versus citizen, say, for example. And then the state is not going to be actively a participant in this. The state is going to be a processor as far as the court that you're in. And if you can prove this, and like you said, the teacher that slipped on the condoms, but for the condoms being on the floor, then the teacher wouldn't have slipped. Right. So had the condoms been cleaned up properly, she wouldn't have been injured, which means the school should pay her money for her injuries because they were at fault for this. That's basically what this is saying. Yes?
Common law?
What is common law? Go ahead, Andrew.
Was that the one where the judge kind of, like, didn't really have a law to go back to? They just kind of made it up case by case?
Yeah, judge-made law is common law. And this is actually very, 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 very prevalent in the American system. Code law, one of the questions from the chapter, if you remember on this, is actually more of stuff that goes on, say, in France. The judges don't have as much ability to make laws. They are specifically there to apply them to a particular code. Can you think of some of the examples that I have given you guys in reference to common law? Gave you about 3, I think, yeah.
One of them was how to interpret probable cause.
I'm thinking of like divorce cases, like in who gets jurisdiction.
We talked about divorce cases?
I don't think we did, but I'm just thinking about that.
I don't think we did. Go ahead.
Was that the fingernail and also the fat Mike or big Mike?
Yeah. Okay, the fingernail. What was the fingernail case?
That was the one where...
that was Anissa, right?
I think so.
Oh, that was you? You murdered your boyfriend.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay.
That's the one where a woman got called into a police station to identify or to talk about her boyfriend who she had murdered.
Right.
They didn't know that at the time. Mm-hmm. And she had red on her fingernail or blood, but they didn't know. They just saw it
looked like blood, yeah.
So they threw her to the ground, and I remember the result was it was 100% legal, but they were allowed to do that.
Okay, Ariel killed her boyfriend who was cheating on her. Evidently, he was one of the neighborhood, homeschool boys. And I don't know, he was cheating on somebody. I don't know who it was. And she killed him with her bare hands, and she liked it. She really dug her nails in. And while she thought that she had gotten everything cleaned up, she didn't, and she had blood that was still a little bit on her fingernail. Maybe it looked just like bad nail polish, for example. Now, when you think about this, the police called her, they invited her down to the station, and when she went in, without reading her rights, without asking her any questions, without having any warrant whatsoever, they saw this red. What did she do with her hands when they saw the red?
She stuffed it in her pocket.
She stuffed her hands in her pockets and kind of made that, no, you don't have to film this, but she put her hands in her pockets and kind of started to rattle, so to speak, like she was doing what? What's that? Nervous, that could be. Ariel, what were you doing? You had blood on your fingers. I was trying to get that damn blood off, so I'm like, getting this. Well then, yeah, okay, anyway, it's on camera. All right, so anyway, the big police officers tackled her, threw her down, pinned her hands behind her back. They took a sample of the red. It turned out to be the blood on the boyfriend, and they charged her at that point in suspicion of the murder of her boyfriend. Okay, why was that legal?
Reasonable.
There were 2 or 3 reasons that were really specific. Go ahead, Ariel.
One was because it wasn't an invasive procedure to get the blood from her.
The evidence was external on her ring finger, say, for example. And since it was external and it was in plain view when she walked in, number 1, that was not an invasive search. Anything else?
She voluntarily went down to the police station.
She went voluntarily. They were not even questioning her at this point, so they didn't have to read her rights. They invited her down, and she went down there. Had she not gone down there, or had they gone to her house, for example, that would have maybe been a different circumstance. But as it was, she voluntarily went, and she was not required to go. There was a third thing, too, right?
She went there.
What about the reading of the rights and the warrant? Is there anything else with that?
Well, it was plain sight.
Okay, she voluntarily went down, so they didn't have to read her rights. It was plain sight, so that they didn't need a warrant at any point, and
She
it
was
wasn't
destroying
invasive.
evidence.
Can you
That's
get?
what
And yeah, that was one of the other things. Now, can you give me an example of an invasive search that would not be allowed? Because there were two.
If like she had hidden something somewhere on her person and they like made her take off her clothes and search her, that would be invasive.
No.
No, we were thinking about the bullet in the rear end. It was one of the invasive.
The bullet where?
in the rear end.
Okay, what was that story?
The ass bullet.
The ass bullet. Go ahead. I don't know why she's getting sheepish now. She said so many other bad words today. Go ahead, John.
With the guy, he robbed the clerk at what was it, a convenience store, and then he ran out and got shot in the ass on his way out.
That's right.
And what did the court deem that?
Well, so the guy got to the hospital, and what happened?
Did he refuse treatment? I don't think we ever said whether he did.
That's right. He refused treatment. So basically, the guy got shot in the ass. He robbed the convenience store, and when he robbed the convenience store and he turned to run away, the clerk came up just mad firing guns and happened to shoot him right in his buttocks. So he goes to the hospital, and obviously, as soon as somebody comes in with a gun wound, what do they have to do?
Call police.
They got to call the police. And when the police got there, what did the police basically tell the doctors? And basically, what did the police say even to the guy that was on the table?
We want the bullet.
We want the bullet. Why did the police need the bullet?
Ballistics from the convenience store.
The police's argument was, if we can get the bullet, then indeed we can now match him to the murder, or not the murder, but the robbery of the convenience store. So the guy, knowing, okay, and here's the thing, can the police go in and get that bullet, or can the police authorize the doctors to go in and take that bullet out of his ass, Joe?
Because it is an internal search, and it would be invasive of his privacy.
Be an invasive search. Okay, so the guy refused treatment. Now, when you think about this, did he have to have the treatment in order to get the bullet out?
In order to get the bullet out, yeah, he would have to get the treatment.
He would have, but did he have to get the treatment? I mean, could
No,
he say,
he could live
I'm
with
just
it.
going to sit on this bullet?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, why?
Because it wasn't life-threatening.
Yeah, here's the thing. You know, like I said in class, you can just sit on the other side. Just half and half on this one when you think about it. So when you put this into context, it wasn't life-threatening. He refused to get the bullet removed, and when he refused to get the bullet removed, the police could not, even if they had gotten a warrant saying search his ass,